All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, I would like to express my appreciation to everyone who have helped make this event come together for the students at Cal Poly Pomona and the University of Irvine. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Cal Poly Society of Accountants to welcome our speakers from the Certified Board of Accountancy, President Nancy Corrigan, Suzanne Gracia, David Hemphill, and Ramona Bermudez. We are all excited to have you all here today to speak on the requirements and the value in acquiring the CPA license. For those who have questions during the presentation, please use the Q&A icon in the taskbar to post your question. This concludes my opening remarks and opens the floor for Dr. Magdi Farag for any additional remarks.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. First, I want to start by thanking the California Board of Accountancy for supporting Cal Poly and its accounting students and for providing this informational workshop. This is a huge privilege for us. Accounting students should clearly understand the value of earning a CPA license. It's not just that the pay for CPAs is among the highest professions, but also CPAs have the lowest unemployment rates nationwide. So according to the US Department of Labor, it's less than 1.5%, which I think is amazing. Earning your CPA license is not easy, but it's doable. It requires some planning and a lot of dedication and commitment. However, once you earn your CPA license, a tremendous number of opportunities would be available to you. Please take advantage of this workshop by listening carefully to the presenters, ask questions, and take notes. One more time, and on behalf of the College of Business and the accounting department's faculty and students, I would like to thank the CBA for their time and to speak with us today. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Nancy Corrigan. Ms. Nancy Corrigan is the president of the California Board of Accountancy. She is also one of the Cal Poly Accounting Department alumni, and she's a valuable member of its advisory council. We're very honored and pleased to have her today. Thank you again for joining us and wish you all the best. Laura, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Farag. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for Ms. Nancy Corrigan. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so all of you can follow along for her presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Kota and Dr. Farag. It is truly my pleasure to be here. My great fondness, of course, and wonderful memories of Cal Poly Pomona all the years back and continuing to be involved just mean so much to me. So my name is Nancy Corrigan. I'm a certified public accountant, or CPA, and I currently serve as the president of the California Board of Accountancy, or CBA. So on behalf of all of my fellow board members, and we have 15 positions on our board and some 100 very qualified individuals who make up our staff, thank you so much. With all of that, we regulate some 108,000 licensees in the great state of California, and that is more than any other state, number of licensees in any other state of the nation. So it is a big task that our staff tackle every day. Events like this give us a chance to reach out and interact with students directly, which is something we just don't get to do often enough. So we appreciate it, and we hope you all become future CPAs. Our job is to help you get there and even beyond. So the California Board of Accountancy, or CBA, is a state agency, and we regulate the practice of public accounting in California. We issue CPA licenses to those who meet the requirements under the law. Our mission, our very important mission, is to protect the public, those businesses, individuals who rely on the services performed by CPAs in California, whether it be directly or indirectly. So this mission underscores everything that we do. Our responsibility has 4 main components. We ensure that only licensed CPAs practice and in according to professional standards in California. We evaluate all California candidates for licensure, and we determine whether they meet the requirements to become licensed. We then issue licenses to those who do meet the requirements. And once you are a CPA, there are continuing education requirements that must be met to keep the level of quality of California practicing CPAs at its highest. So 4 main charges that we have. Now, we also have 3 advisory committees. Those advisory committees are not board members, but they are appointed members who help the board and the staff do their jobs. And you might consider when you become a CPA to also volunteer and dedicate yourself to that. It is just a wealth of information and a good feeling of giving back to the profession. And I was fortunate to serve on all 3 of these advisory committees over a period of some 15 years before I was appointed to the board. So the qualifications committee is one that reviews and ensures that applications for licensure are complete and include the appropriate experience to be licensed. The Enforcement Advisory Committee assists us with enforcement activities to promote consumer protection that I mentioned a moment ago is so important. The Peer Review Oversight Committee ensures that peer review requirements, and these are a condition of being licensed in California for certain licensees, that those are being met. So very, very important. Now in a few minutes, and as was mentioned in the introduction, 3 of our outstanding staff, and they are the important people on today's agenda following me, will be happy to answer questions you may have regarding becoming a CPA. Now, these folks handle that information, handle these details on a daily basis. They're excellent at it. But I have to say, and you know it was mentioned, Cal Poly is my alma mater, and I'm a proud Bronco fan. So we have a special surprise just for Cal Poly today that Ms. Bermudez is going to share during her presentation. And it's an exciting announcement regarding CPA applications for licensure. First, I want to tell you about the benefits of becoming a CPA and achieving that title. If you do that, as I did, the realization is that the public accounting profession has a very, very long and important history, and the need for our services is even greater than ever before with a changing environment, the business environment, the fact that we're no longer just domestic, we're international, all the opportunities that we have. You are entering the profession at a very, very interesting time. So the skills that you must possess are also evolving to encompass all the technology, all the changes that are occurring. And this way, future CPAs will be even more equipped to handle their clients' or companies' needs. Now, as Dr. Farag mentioned, my having served on the Accounting Department Advisory Council for many years, I'm very aware, very knowledgeable that your professors are working to keep Cal Poly current to best prepare you for the exam. So I know they're very actively involved in that. So the CPA license provides many opportunities and unlimited avenues, whether you go into public accounting or private industry. You have a choice to specialize: accounting, auditing, taxation, and many, many variations of those categories. Once you do that, once you accomplish that license, you become a very valuable commodity in the employment market, as I did. I've served in public accounting over my entire career, working within the framework of an accounting firm providing services to clients. And that client, working with clients, the satisfaction of doing what I did has made me a very marketable employee. And with that, I could do really the sky's the limit, anything I wanted to do. So achieving that license, and it's a tough challenge, but a very worthy one, provided me with prestige and respect, with career development, career security, job satisfaction, money and benefits that accrued over time. So I want to thank you and hope that you will all consider becoming a CPA. And I want to hand the program over now to Suzanne Gracia, Examination Unit Manager of the CBA, and she will discuss requirements that you need to meet in order to take the CPA exam. Thank you.
Thank you, President Corrigan. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Suzanne Gracia, the manager of the examination unit with the CBA. I'd also like to introduce some of the staff joining me today. So if they can just say a little hello as I introduce them. These are the staff that are going to be present at the student assessment sessions this afternoon. So I have Jennifer Jackson, who is the exam unit coordinator.
Hello.
Thank you. And I have Delia Tomas, who is the exam analyst. She may be on mute. Jennifer Huddy is the initial licensing coordinator.
Hello.
And Diane Edwards is an initial licensing unit analyst. And she may be on mute as well, but they will be available at the student assessments this afternoon. We'll be happy to answer your questions and assist you. So we participated in an outreach event last year with Cal Poly Pomona, and we are excited to be invited back to talk to you about the pathway to CPA licensure. First, let me tell you a little bit about the CPA exam, which is your first step towards CPA licensure. If you can go to that next slide, please. Thank you. The Uniform CPA exam is a national computer-based exam that will test your skills and competencies necessary for entry into the practice of public accountancy. There are 4 sections, and each section is 4 hours long: auditing and attestation, business environment and concepts, financial accounting and reporting, and regulation. Please keep in mind the CPA exam is undergoing changes that are anticipated to take effect in 2024, which Mr. Hemphill will be discussing a little later. So how do you qualify to sit for the exam? Many of you are working towards completing your bachelor's degree, and if so, you are already taking a major step in the right direction. Before you can take the CPA exam, you must earn a bachelor's degree or higher and complete 24 semester units in accounting courses and 24 semester units in business-related courses. We refer to this as the 24 and 24. Once you have met these 3 requirements, you are ready to apply. As soon as you graduate and complete the required classes, you should request for your official transcripts to be sent to the CBA, and you can submit them in one of 3 ways. Request your transcripts to be mailed directly from your school to the CBA, obtain official sealed transcripts and submit them with your CPA exam application, or you can order an electronic transcript to be emailed to the CBA. Cal Poly Pomona uses the National Student Clearinghouse that allows students to order transcripts online. So in the transcript ordering portal, you should be able to select the California Board of Accountancy as the recipient. You want to make sure that your degree has been conferred on the transcript, as this is the most common issue we find when we're reviewing applications. Education completed outside of the United States must be evaluated by a CBA approved credential evaluation service, and you can find the list of evaluation service providers on our website. After requesting your transcripts or foreign education evaluations, you should next create an online client account. And that's the next slide, please. This client account will allow you to create application remittance forms, check the status of your exam application, and view your scores. I do want to point out that even though you can create an online account, the application remittance form still needs to be printed, signed, and mailed to us with the application processing fee, as these forms cannot be submitted electronically. Once you have completed these 2 steps, your job for applying for the CPA exam is done, and it is then up to the CBA to help you get approved. When we receive the required documents, we review your file to determine if you meet the requirements, again, that you've earned a bachelor's degree and completed the 24 and 24. If you do, you will receive an email notification with instructions on the next step. And if you don't meet the requirements just yet, we will email you to let you know what is missing. The next slide, please. Once approved, you may begin selecting your exam sections. The CPA exam is offered continuously throughout the year. The order you take each section is completely up to you, but take into consideration your work schedule, study time, and personal commitments. Once you have selected your sections, we will send an authorization to test, or ATT, to the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy, known as NASBA, and they will issue you a payment coupon. You will have 90 days to submit your payment to NASBA. It's important to know that once you have paid for the sections, the CBA cannot remove or add sections. So if you need to make any changes, you must request them before you submit payment and prior to the expiration date of your payment coupon. Once NASBA receives your payment, it will issue you a notice to schedule, which is commonly referred to as an NTS, that will be valid for 9 months. And you must schedule and sit for the selected sections within this 9-month period. Make sure that your NTS matches the spelling of your name on the valid identification cards you plan to bring with you to the testing center. We don't want you to be denied entrance. So if your information is not shown correctly, let us know right away and we will get it fixed. I'm now going to turn it over to David Hemphill, who will tell you more specifically about scheduling your CPA exam and changes that will be coming to both the CPA exam and the CPA licensure model.
All right, thank you, Suzanne, for all that good CPA exam information. Hello, students. My name is David Hemphill. I'm an information analyst here at the CBA. I know you're probably not too thrilled about having to take another big test after you graduate, but I'm here to offer you some help. There are tools to assist you in preparing for the CPA exam, which is written by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, or we call them AICPA. On their website, AICPA provides CPA exam blueprints where you can learn about the specific topics tested in each exam section. On the website, you can also find sample tests and tutorial topics that will help you prepare for and hopefully pass the CPA exam. So these are big helps, which I hope you will take advantage of. Next slide, please. When you are ready to schedule your exams, you're all studied up, it'll be time to get to know a company called Prometric. They operate testing centers all around the world, and they will be the ones administering the CPA exam to you. Schedule your exam section by using Prometric's online scheduling tool or by contacting them over the phone. Prometric testing centers are normally open 6 days a week. The CBA allows you to test at any of Prometric's locations in the United States, all over the country, or the District of Columbia, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, or Guam. It is even possible to test outside of these areas, as the CPA participates in the NASBA AICPA I-exam process, which allows candidates to test in specified international Prometric testing centers. If you want more information about I-exam and testing internationally, you can find it on NASBA's website, which is www.nasba.org, NASBA. You'll get to know them too. Once you've got your exam scheduled and the day arrives, here are a couple of tips for the day of. First of all, I highly recommend that you arrive early, 30 to 45 minutes before your appointment. This gives you plenty of time to locate the testing center. Maybe your GPS app isn't exactly right. You want to be prepared. Find yourself some parking. You never know how that's going to be. And of course, complete the check-in process. You definitely don't want to feel rushed or stressed before such an important test, so get there early. Don't forget to bring your paper NTS that Suzanne was talking about and your identification. Without these, you will not be allowed to test, and guess what? You'll lose the exam fees you've already paid, and that's not good. All right, next slide, please. All right, congratulations, you took your exam. You feel pretty good about how you did thanks to all your study time. You're a great student, good job. But how long now do you have to wait to find out if you passed? And how do you get your score? So here's how that all works. So here are the target score release dates. So based on the dates you see on this slide, if you took the exam today, April 21st, you would expect to receive your score on May 11th. It's usually within, could be as little as 1 week or as much as a month after you take the test. You should get your score. You can find all of these target score release dates on the AICPA website, which is listed here. NASBA releases everyone's scores to the CBA, and then our computers will automatically upload yours into your client account, generally on the night of your target date. For security reasons, scores cannot be released via email or telephone. A score of 75 or higher means you passed. Nice job, good work. In order to pass the entire CPA exam, you will need to pass all 4 exam sections within an 18-month period. The date you pass your first section will start the clock on this 18-month period. If one of your exam credits expires prior to passing all 4 parts, then you would need to retake that section. When you do pass the entire CPA exam, we will send you a congratulatory letter with information on what you'll need to do next to obtain a California CPA license. When you are ready to apply for your California CPA license, there are some additional requirements to meet. But before I turn it over to Ramona to discuss that process, I would like to talk a little bit about the CPA exam changes that are coming soon. As Suzanne mentioned earlier, let's go to the next slide, please. As Suzanne mentioned earlier, the CPA exam will be undergoing some changes that are expected to launch in January of 2024. And that'll be on us before you know it. Although the 2024 CPA exam is not yet finalized, I want you to be aware of what's coming, since you are the future of the accounting profession and may actually be taking this new version of the exam, depending on how close you are to graduating. The coming changes are referred to as CPA Evolution. The CPA Evolution initiative is a joint effort of NASBA and the AICPA aimed at transforming the overall licensure model to focus more on the rapidly changing technological skills and competencies the accounting practice requires today and will continue to require in the future. I'll go into more detail in just a moment. Along with NASBA and the AICPA, state CPA societies, state boards of accountancy, academia, firms of all sizes, and CPAs in all areas of practice are all vital partners in helping to prepare the CPA evolution. It's pretty exciting, very collaborative. And their collaboration and support in implementing the new CPA licensure model will help the profession remain strong and relevant for your time in the industry, while protecting the public interest in a constantly changing business environment. Next slide, please. So in addition to the changes to the CPA exam itself, there are changes happening to the licensure model as well. NASBA and the AICPA are moving forward with a core plus discipline licensure model. The CPA exam will continue to test candidates' competencies in accounting, auditing, and tax. However, in addition to these 3 core areas, candidates will be expected to demonstrate more in-depth knowledge in one of these proposed technological areas: business reporting and analysis, information systems and controls, tax compliance, and planning. This model will enhance public protection by producing candidates who will have the deeper knowledge necessary to perform high-quality work. It aims to be adaptive and flexible to future-proof the CPA as the profession evolves. And regardless of which discipline a candidate may choose, there will be only one CPA license. So a candidate's chosen discipline does not mean the CPA is limited to that practice area. If you want to find out more information about the changes coming, the CPA Evolution Initiative, you can visit the CPA Evolution website at evolutionofcpa.org. evolutionofcpa.org. That page is updated when new information is provided, so you can check back on it from time to time. Well, thank you so much for your attention. I hope you feel comfortable now with what to expect with the CPA exam. I wish you the best of luck for lots of passing scores. I will now turn it over to Ramona Bermudez to provide an overview of the licensing requirements and application process. Ramona?
Thank you, David. Thank you, Suzanne. Hello, my name is Ramona Bermudez, Initial Licensing Unit Manager with the CBA. And I'm happy to be here today to discuss the licensing requirements and application process to obtain your CPA license. As you prepare to apply for your licensure, it is important that you ensure that all necessary requirements are met in order to have as smooth of an experience as possible. When you qualified to sit for the CPA exam, you likely already met most, if not all, of the education requirements to obtain your licensure. The additional education we will be looking for is 20 semester units of accounting study and 10 semester units of ethics study, 3 semester units of which must be in a course in accounting ethics or accountant's professional responsibilities, and a minimum of 150 total semester units. Next slide, please. You will also need to complete a minimum of 1 year of general accounting experience under the supervision of an actively licensed CPA. When accepting job offers, it is best to inform your employer of your intent to pursue a CPA license to ensure they are eligible to sign off on your experience. It's a good idea to have your experience form signed and submitted to the CBA as you earn it, regardless of whether you are ready to apply or not. Applicants and supervisors may change jobs or relocate, and it is sometimes difficult to locate your signer at a later date. So completion of the general accounting experience requirement will allow you to perform all of the services of a CPA, with the exception of signing reports on attest engagements, which includes planning audits, preparing work papers, and preparing full disclosure financial statements. If you want to sign reports on attest engagements, you will also need to complete a minimum of 500 hours in attest functions under the supervision of a licensed CPA who is authorized to sign reports on attest engagements. Next slide, please. Thank you. There are a couple of other items that you must satisfy in order to obtain licensure. Completion of the California Specific Professional Ethics Examination, or otherwise known as PET, administered online by California Society of CPAs, CalCPA. Upon successful completion of the PET, CalCPA will send your score to the CBA electronically. Your test results for the PET exam are valid for 2 years. If your application is not submitted within 24 months, you'll have to take it again. So you'll also need to submit fingerprints as part of the criminal background history check. Authorization and information on how to complete this will be provided after we are in receipt of your CPA application. Next slide, please. Now it's time for the big announcement I know you've all been waiting for. I'm happy to let you know that CBA just yesterday implemented an online CPA application. Yay! And since President Corrigan had a soft spot in her heart for all you Broncos, you are the first to know about it. You can now submit your CPA application and pay the processing fee with a credit card entirely online. Easy peasy. Prior to this, you had to mail in your paper application with a check or money order. So this is an exciting upgrade for our applicants. The paper application is still available if you absolutely love making trips to the post office. We still do that. So when submitting your application, please be sure to include an email address so that we can notify you sooner if there is anything else needed in order to complete your file. Email address, important. Once the CBA has received your application and fee, you will receive an acknowledgement email including the authorization and instructions on obtaining fingerprints. Live scan forms and fingerprint cards will be provided to you by the CBA. CBA staff will review the application and notify you of the outcome. If an application is approved for licensure, the CBA will provide you with an approval notification and instructions to submit your initial license fee if you didn't do it already in the online application. Remember, that's easy peasy. If an application is not approved for licensure, you'll be sent a letter advising what is outstanding. Next slide, please. You should have been provided links to the additional tools that will help you during the application process for either the CPA exam or the CPA license. These tools are available on the CBA website. We have a self-assessment worksheet that will help you track your classes and plan for any future education you may need. There's also an education tip sheet that breaks down the requirements and will help you determine where a particular course may qualify. Next slide, please. There's a wealth of information on our website that explains the requirements to qualify and that will assist you in preparing for and taking the CPA exam, as well as navigating the initial licensure process. In our application section, you will find the online applications and links to various forms, and the Uniform CPA Examination Handbook and Licensing Applicant Handbook. Additionally, the CPA maintains a series of frequently asked questions that will assist you in understanding the requirements to qualify for licensure. Next slide, please. Thank you. The CBA offers licensure assistance programs for past and present military personnel and their spouses or domestic partners, as well as refugees, asylees, and special immigrant visa holders. The CBA has a dedicated military refugee liaison, Jennifer Jackson, who can assist you. For more information, you can visit the military refugee section of our webpage, which can be accessed from the tab you see here, circled on the homepage. Next slide, please. If at any time during your application process, the CBA can be of any assistance, we do have dedicated staff available to help you every step of the way. We understand the time and commitment you make when you're pursuing your CPA license, and we want to make the process as seamless as possible for you. We encourage you to connect with us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and sign up for email updates. This will help you stay informed of the developments at the CBA. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you today. Our staff look forward to meeting with you this afternoon during the student sessions, and Ms. Gracia and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nancy Corrigan, David Hemphill, and Ramona Bermudez for sharing with us. Those are such excellent tips on getting ready to start studying and start applying for the CPA license. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for any questions. We do have one question in the chat, and it asks, what happens if you were midway through CPA exams when this evolution happens?
Okay, so I'm sure we'll receive more guidance prior to the launch of the new exam in 2024, but you should be able to continue your exams with the new format in 2024 without interrupting the exam sections you've already taken. The 18-month period should still be in place, so that's still going to tie into when you have to pass any remaining sections that you didn't pass under this current version.
Another question that was asked is, do you think it is possible to study for the CPA exam without taking a CPA review course such as Becker, Rogers CPA, Wiley, if we don't have the financial means to do so?
I think that might be an answer best to ask your peers that may have already been sitting for the CPA exam. I'm unable to advise anybody if it's beneficial or not for you, but the AICPA does have sample tests that you can look at and explains the content of each section. So I definitely recommend visiting the AICPA website to view those sample exams.
Okay. And then
Ms. Coda, excuse me, this is Nancy Corrigan. I might just add that, yeah, over the years of, my personal experience with, and of course, knowledge of, the exam, many people pass it without a review course. Part of it is being very fresh out of school, close to your education, and taking that exam as soon as you can, not letting years and years go by so that you're as current, fresh with the knowledge as you can be. And the tools that are offered, for example, on the AICPA website can be very helpful. I remember too, sometimes you could get like used Gleim and whoever offers it now, because the companies have changed textbooks, just being careful that they are current, with information that will perhaps be tested. So it is very possible. Part of it is your own diligence in approaching the exam and embracing it and not letting it scare you. You may know more than you think you know. You will leave thinking you totally failed and you perhaps did not at all. It's kind of an endurance test. So tackle it and don't wait to do that. So I hope that helps somebody.
thank you. Moving on to another question. One of the students asked, because the CPA exam changes pretty regularly, what are your thoughts on using CPA review books from previous years, such as 2015 to 2020? Will the materials still be relevant to the exam?
I'll try to tackle that one again too. This is Nancy Corrigan. The exam has not changed radically over the years. What has happened is when new professional standards have come into play, have been adopted, new tax regulations, that sort of thing, those will start to appear, but it has not changed radically. You do need to be careful. I mean, I would think older study guides would help to a larger degree, but not 100% if you're not keeping up with current changes. And you can go out and find those really on websites. So that's, very important, to kind of remember. The radical change is coming in 2024, but your professors are preparing and will have you ready for that. That radical change is going to encompass all the technology and any other professional standard changes which have been implemented along the way, little bits as they happen. And the other thing that's happening with the CPA Evolution is your relevant information, meaning testing candidates who are at the 1 to 2 year level experience, things that you're going to never really encounter at that point in your career, dropping those off. So that kind of helps.
Would anyone else like to share any thoughts on that? Otherwise, we can move on to the next question. No? Okay. Another question that was asked is, can your accounting classes count for both the accounting and business unit requirements?
So the courses can't be double counted. If it's an accounting course, we would apply it first to the 24 semester units of accounting before we applied any access to business. If there was a need to split a course, we can definitely do that. So if maybe you needed 2 units for accounting and 2 units for business, we can split a course that way, but they won't be able to be double counted for both categories.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gracia. Another question was, after we finish each part of the audit and the FUA, there is expiration date for my score during that time. My score is to show for public. After that time, my score cannot be shown publicly. Is it, let's see, is it helpful to me to find jobs because it shows my score there?
I'm a little unclear of that question. Is this a question about the exam scores?
If I can interpret that, it sounds like the question is, so the score being public, it's not a public score. The question is that she's confused what's going to happen after the 18 months. It's like the score is going to go away. So I think we need to answer
okay.
that the sections have to be completed. The score is not going to go away.
Okay, so if a score expires before somebody passes the exam within the 18-month period, the score will still show in their client account, but it will just show as expired. And so they would have to retake that section again. If their score does drop off, that would make their next passing score the new time, the new start time for the 18-month period. And so the date that they set for their next passing section would be the 18-month period where they would have to complete all 4 parts from that point.
And the good news is after you completely pass the entire CPA exam, that never expires.
Correct.
So as far as when you would like to apply for a job or actually apply for your license, that will never expire. So you don't have to worry about that. It's just a matter of taking all of your 4 sections of the test within and passing them within that 18 months.
Okay. Now, as far as, let's just say you take your first 3, and you're about to take your 4th, but the first one that you took, you reached over the 18-month period. How long do you have to retake that exam?
Right, so if that first section expires before they pass 18 months, then the next section that they pass, so the second section that they pass would be their new clock.
Okay. All right. Another question was, how soon can we expect to hear back once we submit our application? And what is the general timeline of how soon we can take our first exam?
So for the CPA, well, actually for both CPA exam applications and CPA licensing applications, we work to process these under 30 days. So if you don't hear anything within 30 days, that would be a cause to reach out to us to ensure that we've received everything we needed to review our application. For a CPA exam application, once we do approve you, it's probably a matter of a couple of days before you can schedule your section. So what will happen is once you receive your approval, you'll go onto your client account, you'll select the sections that you want to take. NASBA will issue you a payment coupon for those sections, which is usually a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time. Then once you've paid NASBA, it's probably another 48 hour turnaround time to receive your notice to schedule. And then once you get that notice to schedule, that's when you can actually go ahead and schedule the actual test dates.
Thank you, Ms. Gracia. Another question was, for accounting experience, will it need to be completed by a CPA firm or supervision under private CPA?
I'm going to defer this question to Ms. Jennifer Hetty.
Hi there. As long as you're working under the supervision of an actively licensed CPA, you can work for a CPA firm, you can work in private industry, you can work for government. We can accept it as long as your supervisor's license is active.
Another question was, thank you, Jennifer. Another question was, if I pass and get the license in California, can I work in other states? Do I need to renew my license in the new states?
So this really depends on the type of work you want to do and where you want to do the work. So if you receive your license in California, you can perform accounting services in California, of course. But if you choose to work in another state, one, you will need to reach out to that state to determine what their licensing requirements are. Each state also has provisions for mobility. So depending on the type of work that you plan to do in that other state, you may be able to perform that work under practice privilege.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gracia. Another question was, from my understanding, we can't apply for the exam until we have graduated, or are we able to apply already knowing that we will be graduating this semester?
So you can submit your application ahead of time. The only thing is we won't be able to approve you until we receive your transcript with a degree conferral on it. And then just to add to that, if we do receive your application and documents early, you'll receive a deficiency letter, and then you'll have a year to resolve that. So if you're very close to it, and then you just want to make sure you meet everything and you just need your degree, it's perfectly fine. And then once we do get the official transcript with the degree conferral, we can approve you, and you should be good to go.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Gracia. Another question was, how soon do you recommend students to retake the exam if we didn't pass one part? Is there too much time between the exams?
I think I want to kind of piggyback off a little message President Corrigan was saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to retake a section, it's always best to do it when information is fresh in your mind. So, we can't obviously advise anybody to do it, but if they feel that would be their best path to retake the sections, just the message that President Corrigan was saying earlier about the information being fresh in your mind probably would be recommended.
Thank you. Another question was, who can I contact if I need someone to check my requirements since I am not an accounting major?
So if there's any questions that anybody has related to the requirements for either the CPA exam or the CPA license application, we ask that they contact us by email through our examination info email group or license information email group. We have dedicated staff that will be able to assist you.
Thank you, Ms. Gracia. Another question was, can an international student take the CPA exam?
Absolutely, and there's a couple ways that they can accomplish this. So if they do want to apply, well, if they're applying as a California candidate, they will have their foreign documents evaluated by a foreign credential evaluation service. That's the first thing that they would need to do. And that will help us determine if they meet the education requirements. So they would apply as, a US student would. And then they can choose to, once approved, they can choose to sit in any of the Prometric testing centers in the United States. If they are in one of the countries where we offer the eye exam, they can definitely choose to sit for the eye exam in a location in one of those countries. And again, that information is available on NASBA's website. And it will list the testing centers that are available outside of the United States.
Thank you, Ms. Gracia. Another question was, this is our last one. Is there a time limit to CBA's approval and the first part of the exam?
If I'm understanding, they want to know if there's a time limit to schedule their first exam once they've become approved. So if I'm understanding, that is the question. There is no time. Well, I take that back. There is a time limit. So once somebody's become approved, if they don't select any sections within a year, that application will be abandoned. And so they would have to reapply again. So once approved, they have a year to select the sections.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Huddy's answering the other question. Another question that just came up was a year to select sections within that year. I think it's just touching on what you just shared.
Yes, so when they're approved, they have 1 year to select their sections that they want to take. So if they don't select anything, their application becomes abandoned and they'll need to reapply. Now, once exams are selected, then it starts going through the process of, they have the 90-day time period to pay NASBA for the sections. And then they'll have the 9-month period to sit for those selected sections. A lot of timelines here.
Yeah. Another question was, what is the current CPA exam passing rate in California?
So I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but based on the last exam performance report, I want to say it's midway. So it might have been a little bit above 50% for the pass rate. And this was per section, not necessarily all 4 parts.
And California was a little low, ranked in the 50 states. So we need you all to study hard and bring our rates up. So let's go.
Oh, this one's a good question. If we pass our exams, how long do we have to gain the 1-year experience? Or will we pass the exam always be a fulfilled requirement? Sorry, it's a little difficult to understand.
So as David mentioned earlier, once somebody passes all 4 parts of the exams, the scores don't expire. So there's really no time frame as to when they have to apply for a CPA license. But who wouldn't want to apply for their CPA license right away? And then as far as the experience goes, you can start working on the experience while you're in the process of the CPA exam, or if you choose to wait to start your experience after you've passed the CPA exam, then that's definitely an option for you.
Thank you, Ms. Gracie. Another question that was asked was, Ms. Corrigan mentioned the exam being an endurance test. What advice do you have for students to stay motivated?
I'll try to tackle that one. Well, stay motivated in that, take it once, get it behind you. As our CBA staff have mentioned, it's then good forever. It's better though to go ahead and start working in that environment so that you're as, fresh with the knowledge and that sort of thing. But, the different things I mentioned when I was talking, it's a very prestigious career profession. You live and work by a body of professional standards that is very, very exciting. You research. Not every rule and regulation will apply specifically to your client's situation. You have to use a lot of judgment, a lot of subjectivity, and how does this apply to that situation? And so getting that behind you and just thinking about the exciting things that you will be able to do. And granted, the first couple of years, you're going to be doing the routine things, but you have to get that foundation behind you. It is a very, very rewarding career. That's what you have to keep in mind. Study hard, hit it hard. It is an endurance test. You got to go in with the knowledge though, too. So that's what I would offer.
Thank you, Ms. Corrigan. Since we're coming to a close, I'm going to go ahead and just ask one more question. In the beginning, somebody mentioned that continued education must be met. Can you expand on what that entails?
So I'm thinking this is continuing education once somebody has received their license. So once someone gets their license, there is a 2-year renewal requirement if they want to be in an active status. So we do have an active and we do have an inactive. So if they want to remain in active status, they would be required to do 80 hours of continuing education for each 2-year renewal period.
Thank you. Mr. Hemphill, this one seems like a question for you. In the new CPA licensure, does it still include 4 parts exam or just the 3 core plus the 1 discipline?
Actually, Suzanne, why don't you take that one? I don't know if we know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still going to be a 4-part exam, but then it's going to be broken up into, they'll have to take the 3 core parts, and then they can choose one of the disciplines to be the 4th part.
Oh, okay. All right, I think we'll touch on one more question and then I'll go ahead and close it out. Do you prefer taking your master's education first and then taking your CPA after you get your master's?
Again, I think this is just really something that's dependent on the individual's choice and what they are desiring. But one thing I just want to mention that if somebody is in the process of going for their CPA license, if you hold a master's degree in accounting, taxation, and I'm sorry, Jennifer, Huddy, I might need to ask you to chime in what the remaining master's degrees are.
Laws and taxation.
Taxation, laws and taxation. That would exempt you from the 24 units of accounting study. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are pursuing a master's degree and pursuing the CPA license.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gracia. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. It was great to have you all here. I'm pretty sure all of us students learned so much from all of you. We'll go ahead and open up the floor for Dr. Frog if you have any closing remarks.
Yeah, I really want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank the CBA staff and also Ms. President Corrigan for joining us today. I think this was very informative, and I look forward for the other one-on-one sessions, and I hope our students would take advantage of that. All right, thank you again, and I look forward for another meeting next semester.
Thank you, everyone.
Those were excellent questions, very informative, and very worthwhile hour spent. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you.